Hi, this is Joe and welcome back to the Fab Lab. We're going to continue this video series on using the Harbor Freight hydraulic kit, and I have some set up on the trailer frame. Let's move the camera and I'll show you how I have this configured. The configuration of the extensions are, we have the base, we have a 5.5 inch extension, an 8.5 inch extension, and then we have an 18 inch extension. Let me move the camera here. Then we have the ram, and then we have a small straight-on adapter that fits onto the actual ram side of the ram. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tighten the knob. What I have here is the angle of this rail right here is bent inward like this, and what we'll do is we're going to try to pivot this out, and then in a second operation we're going to try to rotate this rail a little bit. Now whether I'm going to be able to accomplish that with this ram is another question, but first of all we're going to try to straighten this frame rail here. So let me move the camera back a little bit. Let's try applying some pressure to the ram and seeing if we're going to get anywhere. I have the ram now snug up against the frame rails. Let's go ahead and start pumping. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to see the frame rail straightening it out, but we're going to give it a shot here. What we'll do is we will try to stretch this frame rail out, and then we'll relieve the pressure and see if the frame rail is going to spring back. If it does, then we'll have to extend it a little bit farther. So let's see, it almost looks another pump or so here. The bulge at the other end of the frame has now straightened back out. The frame rail looks pretty straight along this axis right here. So let's move this over so we can get at the release knob, and let's release the pressure. It did shrink back just a little bit, so what I'm going to do is apply some more pressure and extend it just a little bit more, and then, but geez, it actually did a pretty good job of straightening this up. So here, let me tighten the pump back up. And let's put the, what happened is the little base of the ram popped off the other side. So I'll hold that up, pump it back up, and then I'll restart the camera, and then we'll pump this some more and see if we can straighten this right out. I've tried to tilt the camera up a little bit more to give you more of a view of the actual frame rail. So let's go ahead and apply some more pressure. Okay, so I've gone just a little bit past the point of being straight. Now let's go ahead and kick the pressure off. And let me take a peek and see how we're looking. Actually pretty nice. The leaf spring mount, which is right over here, is still a little bent. But before I try to bend that, I'm going to, let me move the camera here and show you what's going on. As you can see, let me get a pointer here. We have this end and that end of the frame are now where I can bend them straight back. But as you notice, this side is a little higher than the other side. So what I'm going to have to do is do a little twisting, and I will do some experimenting. When I get that set up, I'll show you how I'm going to twist that. But what I may do first off is move the ram in more of a vertical fashion now, and then we'll try to bend these bottom frame rails back into position. So I'll do that off camera, then I'll actually show you the bending process. Now I've configured the ram with the base, 5.5 inch, 8.5 inch extension, the ram, and then the nose piece on the other end of the movable portion of the ram. Let's go ahead now and start applying some pressure. I'm concerned that this may slip a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I was hoping to get it a little closer to the edge for more leverage, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with that. So let's try it here, see what happens. Let me go see how that angle is looking. Again, I may have to extend it just a bit beyond because I'm assuming it's going to spring back a little bit. Yes, we're going to go a little bit more. That's the end of the ram. So now let's loosen the pressure. And it did spring back a bit, but I think what I'm going to do is we'll do this in sections. Now I'm going to move the ram over to the left-hand side, and we'll try to straighten that out a little bit. And then maybe what I can do is try to put the larger portion of the ram across both of those and push them both at the same time. I don't know, we'll give it a shot here. Let me, off camera, I'll set this ram up and then we'll come back. We have the ram on the left-hand side. Let's go ahead and apply some pressure and stretch this out a bit. Hit the end of the ram, so I'm probably going to have to put another small extension on that and try to push it a little bit more. Again, off camera, I'll set that up and then we'll come back. I've added the 3-inch extension to the extension side of the ram, and now we're going to try to push this out. I still don't have enough clearance to put the plate of the ram across both of them, so I'm going to try to push this out a bit more, and then we'll try to do that, or maybe we can just do both sides individually. Now I'm going to try to do the other side to get enough so we can push on both of them at once. It's still springing back a bit, but I still have some more room on the ram. So let's go ahead and try to do these a little bit on each side. Let's try on the left-hand side. The railing is starting to expand out, so now I'm going to try to push both of them at one time. Not sure if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. We snapped that loose. I was concerned about that, but I think we made some progress. Let me go and take a visual eye on this and see how we're coming. Let's try this again. Now we'll try the other side. Okay, what happened is by bending, it bowed in the center of this channel. So what I'm going to try to do now is put some pressure in the center of that bow to push that bow, which will then pull this right-hand split portion hopefully closer together. And we hit the end of the ram, and it did put the two splits closer together. Now I just have to come down and probably bend the channel down by hand so that the two split portions will meet. Let me move the camera and show you. As you can see now, the two channels are pretty much aligned. They're just spread apart. So what I'm going to do is put the frame up on its end and try to push down a little bit on each side to bring this split closer together. But the channels now are really close to where they're supposed to be. After using the hydraulic ram kit, we were able to straighten out the channels. One thing though, this kit only pushes. Harbor Freight has another kit that has some rams that can push or pull. So in this particular case, I'm going to have to use some leverage and push these two channels back together. But hopefully by watching this video you'll get an idea on how you can use the hydraulic rams to straighten out, in this case, a metal channel. After straightening things out with the hydraulic ram, to make final adjustments, I cut a few pie cuts on the channel. I'll show you over here. There. And now I can very easily move straighten out the channel in a fine adjustment, and now I can weld everything back together. So all in all, the hydraulic kit and a few pie cuts for some minor adjustments, and we got the frame straightened back out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and share, and thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.